Guys, I'm super excited to do this layout. I'm actually using paper instead of, I'm actually using this photograph instead of paper to make the sketch. So this sketch is on day 15. This is my second of the day. I'm feeling pretty proud. And it is by Lisa Cuno Scrapbooking. And I love this layout, and I am going to tell an important family story with this layout. So sometimes we do layouts to share our cute pictures or make a calendar, but this one I'm actually decided this will be the first, it will be the beginning page of a scrapbook that I plan on making for my family history. So I am using Change of Scenery paper pack, which is still available. It is $7.95. There's 6 sheets in it, and when I saw this paper it reminded me of Iowa, and so I decided to go ahead and use that. And then I remembered I had a very large picture, so this was an 8x10 of me and my sister on what used to be our family farm, my grandparents' farm in Moravia, Iowa, and it is now underwater. And it's so we're standing right in front. We're standing in Honey Creek State Park in Iowa, which and I used to play under there in all that water. So anyway, I will tell the story while I am doing the scrapbooking. So the first thing that I did was I gutted my paper. I was going to use craft paper, but this paper matches perfectly. And I'm using Seabrook as a base for this paper, and it's a perfect match. And look how nicely it matches my pictures. So I'm going to show you how. So I took this 8x10 and I cut it apart. I would give you dimensions on how I cut this apart, but if you are using a large 8x10 picture like this one, where you cut it is going to vary basically on what the focus of your picture is. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it over, and I will show you what I did. So here we go. And I have everything laid out so that way I can focus, and I'll try to make sure that I'm in view. And here we go. So the first thing that I did was, when I was trying to cut this page, I wanted, of course, the focal picture part is where I'm standing. So the first thing I need to do, sorry, is I'm going to go ahead and I have my paper gutted. I've showed you that quite a few times. If you can't remember how to do it, you can just refer back to another video. And this is Seabrook. I'm putting it right in the middle. The reason it was really important for me to get this paper is because my picture is only 8x10, so it is it's only 8 inches across. So by gutting my paper, then I only have 11, which means I only have 3 inches, and it's still going to give me quite a bit of space on the edges, but I'm okay with that. I'm making sure that I'm centering this because I have a lot of things that I'm going to line up. I have my ruler over here just in case I decide I need it, and I'm just going to layer this right over here. Okay. So this is me and my sister. This picture was taken in 1980, I believe. And the 6, so this part of the picture is 2 inches. So I want it to be in the center. So I am placing it between the 5 and the 7. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So my grandfather, he had a farm. I think he had about 823 acres, and it was located in Moravia, Iowa. And in 1948, the Army Corps of Engineers decided that they wanted to make a dam. Ooh, I almost dropped this, which would have been a disaster. they decided they were going to make a dam because he farmed what they commonly called the bottomland, which means every year it would flood. And every year my grandparents, their road would wash out, and my grandpa would come. If I wanted to go and visit, he would come on his tractor, and he would come and get me and take me across the washed out bridge across this lake. Well, it wasn't a lake. It was only a lake in the winter when it rained a lot. So the Army Corps of Engineers in 1948 decided that they would take all these farms in Moravia, Iowa, and make a dam and a state park out of it. Well, that was a lot of very good farmland, and my grandpa did not want to go farm someplace else. And so he fought it, and he went all the way to Washington, D.C. He met with President Eisenhower. I have a picture somewhere of him and President Eisenhower. And he had a signed picture of President Eisenhower. And he won the first time, and so they postponed it and didn't do anything until about 1958, I believe, the year before I was born. And then they started up again saying they wanted to build this dam. And so in 1964, he was forced to sell his land. They gave him $99 an acre for his farmland, and then told him that if he did not reinvest it by the end of the year, that they were going to tax him capital gains on it, even though he didn't want to sell it in the first place. But so my family's land, my family's farm, is actually where, so if you are from Iowa and you know where Honey State Park is, that was where I used to live and play as a little girl. So I don't know if I might, when I'm looking at these, the nice thing about repositionable tape is I think I might have them too far apart. We'll get them together and see what you think. I think I'm actually okay with a 1/2 inch. It's consistent. And so when I was, after my grandparents were forced to sell their farm, and they moved to this small community called Seymour, Iowa. That's where I graduated from high school. I went to live with my grandma for a while, and I graduated from Seymour, Iowa. But and my grandma did not drive, and so anytime anyone would visit that had a car, we would have to go up and see what she would call the old home place. So we would visit the state park, and this picture was taken on one of those visits. And it's the only time I ever really saw my grandma look very sad. And she would just walk around. She'd just walk around the park and tell us about what her life was like when they lived on the old home place. Now I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing that I'm probably going to have to pull some of it up. And that's the beauty of live videoing, is you can see all the mistakes that you made. Even though I put it in the middle, see how this is way off to one side? I know what I did wrong. So what I did wrong was I have taken an inch off, so now I'm an inch off. So all these are going to have to come up, so bear with me. I'll tell you some more stories while I pull this stuff up. So it shouldn't have been at 6, because 6 would be it's not the middle of this, because this was actually cut at 11, so half of 11 is 5 1/2, so I should have put it over, and I will. Oh goodness. So this picture actually was on my, so instead of 5 by 7, 5.5 is going to be my middle. Okay. And all the best laid plans. So now I'm going to have to be strategic. I might have to, rethink this, because now it's all coming up. I knew if I didn't do it. Okay, I'm gonna measure the 1/2 inch again, and if if there's any errors, you know what they say about scrapbooking, there's no mistakes in scrapbooking, only opportunities to embellish. And so that is, I had it at a 1/2 inch before, so I'm taking my ruler and I will move this. See, if I had one of those things where I could, that's too much. Let's do it at 6. Okay. So it's okay if we have the wide space as long as we're consistent, right? And I really, and it's funny because I never really glue this much down. I mean, I really glued this stuff down as I was telling the story. So, anyway, I'll tell you some more stories about my grandpa. So my grandpa was a farmer, and of course, they were, actually, when I think about when they originally started about taking his land, when they originally started talking about taking his land, it was in 1948, which probably was, it was shortly after World War II. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to redo this. Okay, I think it was perfect when I did it before. Of course, that's not on tape. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a 1/2 more. Okay, that's on that side. This is on this side. Now I can't remember where the trees are. Oh, I can't see the forest for the trees. Okay, all the things that you should not do. So make sure that when you are cutting your picture apart, you have the exact place that you want to put it, because this is definitely no fun. This actually goes here. Now I'm kind of like doing a puzzle. Okay. Terrible, terrible. Sorry, guys. This goes right here. And this goes. Does that go right there? Has to be. And you want to make sure they're straight. So, my grandpa owned, like I said, he owned 800 acres, and it was during the Depression, and he lost, I think he lost like 40 acres during the Depression, and he was so humiliated. He just died. You heard me telling that story. Okay, so that's over there, and then this is over here. Okay. And this one's like this. Okay, and I will monkey around with this a little bit more, but you get the gist. So, and it does bother me a little bit that that is more on that side, but you can see because I'm not a perfectionist, I'm not going to worry about it. So, anyway, so I use this picture instead of paper, And make sure that you have your center part. Don't be like me. And then what I did with this change of scenery paper, I tore it. So I took the green and I tore it towards me because I think that looks like Iowa. I don't know, it's something about it. So I'm going to put that on the side, and I'm actually, remember I need to cut it 1 inch off, so I will do that. I will cut 1 inch off this edge. And you got to see me see how you can make a mistake? There are no mistakes in scrapbooking, only opportunities to embellish. So this goes this way, and that's going to sit like there, like that. And I love that. And see how I'm just adding adhesive on the bottom, and I'm going to put it on the bottom because I'm going to have journaling. So I'll show you the other cool thing that I did with this layout that I'm kind of proud of and thinking I'm kind of smart. See how this just all goes, and then I inked it. I inked it in espresso. If you don't have espresso and you have the old Colosseum Heart Cocoa, that is really, really similar. And then I'm going to slide this down here like this. I'm going to tape this because I want it to be very layered. Oh, first I need to hack off a 1/2 inch. And even though, I mean, if you look at this, I'm going to show you. This was not perfect. I should have spent more time layering it, but I am still really happy with how this looks. And I could put, I don't know what I could put. You could trim it down, I could move it over. What I could do is I could trim it down and move it over, but I'm probably not going to do that. To be quite honest, I don't get real fussy like that. It's the idea that you can use large papers, and then I'm just going to glue this on the edge like this, because I am going to put, I have a lot of journaling that goes on this, and I'm not for sure if I'm going to include it in this one because, like I said, it's going to be an entire album about our family. And what I did was I went online and I looked up Honey Creek State Park. This is the actual sign that is really close to where, well, it's actually on the farm. It used to be part of my grandparents' farm. So I printed that off, and that's going to be my title, and I'll be right here. So it's not exactly like the sketch, but it definitely was the inspiration that I used to make this. So if you have large pictures, you can, the first thing you want to do is center your picture. Mine's a little off center because I miscalculated because I did not allow for the inch that I had that went around it. So make sure that you center your picture or put that part where you want it. And I believe this was 2 inches, but you can see that I used different sizes, and it still looks really good. And I'm super happy with it. So large pictures can, because what do you do with them when you have an 8.5 by 10? What do you do with them really? So this one's out of the drawer. I will put it in my scrapbook, and it will be a layout. And this was probably the fastest layout I've done for a while. Also, I would like to say that I did ink in between each one of these pictures. So anyway, that's my story of how my family's farmland was taken by the government and how I used to play underwater. Well, there wasn't water there then. But anyway, talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please put a like and subscribe. I am looking for 100 subscribers by the end of this month. So anyway, if you are from Moravia, Iowa, leave me a comment. That'd be kind of fun too. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.